Our next session is with Skanda, who runs Shaale, a pioneering arts digital platform for performing arts. He started it, I think, around 2013, 2014. Skanda has joined us today all the way from Bangalore. So thank you so much, Skanda, for coming here today. Artspy has done a lot of interesting work with Shaale. We've worked together on multiple projects, multiple digital productions. And today, with everything going digital, we thought Skanda is probably the best person to talk about his own insights from running a platform like this, and what, sort of the journey of Shaale, but also the journey of Shaale is also, I can say that it's a digital journey of the classical arts also, because from the time you started, it's when digital also picked up. So he will first present, a few pointers from his presentation, and then we'll have a conversation. Yeah.
Thanks, Ramya. So quickly, I want to share some insights which we have not shared anywhere till now about what we have found audience behavior, or what can we say. Some insights on running Shaale for the last. So I don't want to get too much into our background, but to give you a brief, we did live streaming services for over 5-6 years until 2018. So 2018 is when we set up Shaale as a startup, as a company, as a for-profit company, and raised some angel funding, and we set up this ticketing platform. It was 2018, before pandemic. So we were, even through live streaming, we used to go and talk to artists, talk to organizations to have a digital presence. But COVID changed everything. So just to give a summary, so from 2018 to today, it's been 4 years. We have ticketed over 500 events, including big festivals like the Music Academy season and the Saptak Festival. We have streamed a lot of Speakmaker events and so on. So I'd like to share some insights which might, trigger a conversation, hopefully, and go further to actually see how digital media, in a bigger sense, is a game changer. So next slide, please. So we'll get into the problem areas that we found in our insights, and some opportunities Shaale is pursuing, in some of these insights, and of course what the big picture is. So one of the biggest insights I feel, and we have found out, is engagement on our platform and also in general outside social media. So there is dwindling attention span. So 30 seconds is the new norm, right? So that's the thing, but it's very interesting. People buy tickets and they don't come to watch it. So in some of the big festivals, 40 to 50% people don't come to watch they would have bought tickets. It's good for the ticket, for the producer to get the revenue, but finally, if nobody is watching, what's the whole point? Like 50% is huge, and another 45 to 46% don't watch it full. Maximum watch time is 50%. If it's a 2-hour concert, it's only 1 hour that they get to watch. Max, that's the max I'm telling. And very few, a minuscule of them actually watch the full performance. So you can see where this is and where we are going. Some of the reasons we try to give, one is it's a long form content. I didn't mention we are basically into Indian classical music and dance. So it's predominantly long form content that's being ticketed, and it's given out for short durations. They say 48 hours, 72 hours, right? It may work on the physical. I don't know why that I have not been able to have a conversation with anybody on this, but I think that's causing this short engagement. We have spoken to a lot of, I have handled customer support most of the times. I receive calls from people, and I always see a lot of people coming back and saying, I didn't get the time to watch. It's a 2-hour concert, right? And there are festivals happening, releasing 24 concerts, like Music Academy released 24 concerts in a span of 12 days. Right? Nobody has the time. Even on Netflix, if you have 3 hours movie, when will you watch? Right? There's no time, but our artists, our art organizations have to understand this, that this change needs to be understood. There's no time for the audience on the digital platform. So it may be different on the physical front. The digital game is different. It's TikTok and Reels right now, so just imagine. And another point is quality and innovation in content. So what is the kind of quality of content that we are giving out? And there is no innovation, in my opinion. Frankly, The concerts are put out as is, 2 hours. What is what is in it for the audience? So I think these are some of the things on the engagement front. Next. And in our interest, one of the interesting insights is live performances. As I said, is long form content, 2 hours. More than that, the spike is only one time. Since it is, it's mostly manodharma and this creative aspect, people watch it only during the time it's streamed. It goes down and it never comes back. People don't come to watch a live concert performance, I'm telling. So I was having a conversation with Bharat, I think he left. He was telling me, I was asking him, how many albums did you record recently in the last couple of years? Because streaming is booming. Like people want asynchronous content, like people want to have things in the background running. That's what is running on the digital front. Live performances have a steep decline in engagement after once it is streamed. First of all, it's not engaged. Even if it is engaged, this is what the case is. But it's not the case with recorded, well-produced content which is available for a longer duration, anytime access. That's how Netflix, Spotify, everybody is growing, right? You see them making a lot of money, but we have not changed our, we have not thought about these things. Like our concerts the format hasn't changed for the digital medium. And, I think in our opinion, albums and well-recorded, well-produced digital content is what is going to give you revenues back. So a good investment on well-recorded content is a lifetime IP. And I recently, it's a 4-day news, Justin Bieber and Bob Dylan, top artists are selling all of their rights to top producers. I don't know how many of you heard. Justin Bieber just sold all of his catalog until 2021 for 200 million. So, I mean, that's the future. So why are these people investing in this kind of content? It's long-term investment for them. They see the potential in streaming, recurring revenues through subscription and so on. So I'll come to that next. So another thing, ticketing, since it's one time, it's very artist-centric, and more than artist-centric, I would say it's people who have community, who have built a community online, who have a following. Popular artists are the ones who sell. It's not for upcoming artists. We have seen it. And that's one insight. Another, next slide, please. So as a platform, everybody says we need to have exclusive content. So everybody feels right, but we don't think so. Exclusivity, today is a lot of content, but there is no context. There is no relevance. Like how do we make existing content, as Bharat said, like it's on YouTube, how can we curate the same content to make it more contextual, make it relevant to the user, right? What this means is, next, why should we do it? Currently, it's a very small market size in business terms. I've met a lot of investors as a startup fundraiser. First thing I got saying, the market size is very small. So I had to change my positioning and pitch a lot of times. Still, it's hard to raise funds. But we are in a very small market size. We have to understand as artists and arts organizations, it's a very small market size in the big picture. How do we increase the market size? That should be the focus now, in my opinion. It's not, catering to the existing market is one. It's a community which is saturated, in my opinion. They have a lot of options. They know what to watch, where to watch. And they have their gurus, upcoming artists have their gurus telling what to watch, what not to watch more, and all that. So I think the opportunity, the bigger opportunity is in going after a new market. Can we go to schools and catch young children to actually appreciate? Can we make it contextual? The media that we have, can we make it personalized to them? So they come through a journey and we increase the market size so everybody wins. It's a small market size right now. It's a problem, it's an opportunity. So these are some of the insights I had, I could draw from whatever operations we did till now. And from this, as I said, we are looking at some of the opportunities that Shaale as a platform could explore. So there is a high demand for high quality recordings and interactions. This is one of the insights we have. People want good quality content. It's not that, I don't want to watch or anything. They are craving for good quality content from good artists. They want to discover new artists. So that's a very good thing to have. And they want to explore. So there is a cultural revolution, especially outside India. People want to connect back and explore their roots and art forms and so on. Like a lot of expats and people outside India, there's a lot of cultural networking possibility right now. And artists, on the artist front, so on the audiences, I'm dividing the opportunity. On the audiences front, we have that. And on the artist front, artists lack monetization online, right? So that's a bigger artist. When I say artists, it's artists and arts organizations. So it's a huge problem. YouTube, whatever, ticketing is not working. We have been there, I'm telling you. So it's something that we want to solve. I'll come to that. So reaching new audiences. So on social media, it's very hard until you put out an ad, until you have budgets. It's very hard to reach a new community outside your community. Right? I'm sure people here will agree with me. We have seen it happen. See, because social medias have algorithms which run, and their mandate is bigger budgets, like films. Films have so much budget for each of their film to market their films. So until we have that kind of budgets, social media marketing is very hard. In my personal, all this is my personal opinion. You're free to refute and question. I feel that that's where we can, as a platform, we can help and we can create that community which will actually create a feedback loop and a career path for upcoming artists. Like that's totally missing right now. If you see, there is no, somebody new coming to the field, doesn't know what it is, and there is a lot of politics, I should say, I don't know, thing to actually come up. So there's no clear, so these are some of the opportunities we feel as a platform we can take up. So what we are doing is to increase the market size, we are focusing on learning, getting people to, Shaale means school in Kannada, similar to Shala in Sanskrit. So we are a learning-based platform for audiences, and we are a monetization-centric platform for artists. So if artists make money, that's our goal. We want artists and art organizations. So wherever you go, funding is a big problem, right? So as a digital platform, we want to solve monetization for artists. And there is a huge networking gap between these two. Like on both sides, if artists want to find students, artists are willing to teach. Many upcoming artists want to take music as a profession, but they don't have a career. As I said, they don't have a career path. If we can just connect the dots, there are many students willing to learn. So networking, there are artists who want to perform. So which are the organizations? They want to tour. Which are the organizations? So there's no, I would say LinkedIn for artists is missing. Right? Don't we need a LinkedIn for artists? That's what is missing right now. So a professional networking platform where there is curated content, where artists, art forms can be explored and so on. So that's what we are trying to do. I'm not saying we are perfect and we have it all, but this is what we are thinking right now. And when it comes to monetization, let me just give you what we are trying to do. We did ticketing, right? Now we are exploring a subscription-based model, like Bharat said. We want to curate content and make it available, personalize it, and make sure artists and everybody involved in the whole chain makes money. How we do it is you can come to Shaale today and upload your content like you do it on YouTube, but it's curated. We have a verification. Simple. We want to keep a good audio video quality as a benchmark. And you can upload your content. It's your content. We don't own the rights. There's no licensing. It's similar to YouTube. You just create a profile and upload your content. And that content is on a subscription. It's a monthly and a yearly subscription, like Netflix or whatever. And every month we whatever subscription amount generates, it's divided across all the artists and producers based on the viewership. So it's totally engagement based. It's not based on ads. It's not based on views. It's very transparent. Every second of subscription viewership is tracked, and it's opened up on a producer panel or an artist panel. So you can see how much viewership has happened, how much revenue it has made. And we hope to build that. We don't have it yet. For ticketing, we have people we have around 60,000 people who have bought tickets and who have engaged with the platform. But this subscription is a new thing that we are doing. So we'll go to the next. So how are we different than YouTube? First is we have a bigger payout. For every watch hour, you can see Spotify, YouTube pays 60 paisa, 40 to 60 paisa per hour. We are starting off with 60 rupees per hour, which is 100x more than other platforms. And here content and revenue is collaborative. What I mean by that is, when we create content, everybody gets together. But when revenue is made, only there is a producer or a right. Like, can we make it content, revenue, and copyright collaborative? Like, everybody makes revenue. It's very transparent. There is a panel where everybody sees how much viewership, what's the viewership, what's the revenue. Everybody makes revenue every month. So the idea is to give a passive income stream for artists and art organizations. You create good quality content once, and it makes you revenue throughout your life cycle. So this is what we are looking at right now. So that's about us. Sorry if I took a lot of time to tell about ourselves. We'll get to the big picture of digital media in general now. So digital media over the last 20 years has changed the whole game. We all know. I don't need to get into that. But what's the backend that's running digital media today? And what, in my opinion, the true game changer is? It's AI. It's the artificial intelligence systems and the machine learning models and the data-driven analytics that are going to define the next 5-10 years. This is what is driving the game-changing thing behind. But how many of you know, have heard about ChatGPT? How many of you use it on a daily basis? ChatGPT? Huh? Okay, so, huh? So it's just the beginning, it's just the tip of the iceberg. And it changed industries in the last 1.5 years, 1.5 months. So this is the kind of change that's coming at us. So we better be ready. So how is it game changing? It's changing the whole game in all of these sectors. It's already in many of these areas, especially marketing. We have an AI tool for marketing, for every step of marketing. Next step. Next slide. No, move on. So just take marketing. There is an AI tool for every step of the marketing process. Okay, and there's an AI for that.com. You can go there and type your use case and it will give you AI tools that you can use today. For all of this. For all of the areas that I mentioned. So you can just use this. There is for writing copy. So it has totally disrupted the whole space. And it's going to even more in the coming days. So it's making processes simpler. It's making some things redundant. So in my personal opinion, the biggest game changer from this AI revolution is the ability to personalize at scale. Let that sink in for a minute. In each of those processes, the creation, the promotion, the distribution, the education, archiving, when each of those can be personalized, imagine what the impact will be and how it will change the whole game. Like, for example, creation. If consumers can themselves create music, right? And the use cases are multiple. Like today there is technology that I can say something and it can be heard in a different voice. I can sing a note and it can come from TMK's voice. It's already there. So you can just imagine the use cases and the kind of revolution and the disruption that's ahead of us. So we better be ready. So that's it. That's all I had to share with you. Just to summarize, engagement is something I want you to take home. How do we, as a community, increase engagement for classical arts? It's a big problem. It's not something I have an answer for, but we need to think. How do we take people from 30 seconds to, because we can't reduce our concerts to 30 seconds. Our performances on the digital platform, how do we do it? What are the kinds of things we can do? Next slide. Last slide. Learning is learning is the only way we can, change is constant. This is the only way we can move forward.
Thank you, Skanda. Just a couple of questions that I have, and then we can open it to the
No, it's
audience
okay, it's
also
okay.
for questions.
Yeah.
I think it's easier. So the first question I have is about audiences. So wanted to get your thoughts on how the audience behavior has changed from pre-pandemic to now. I know that the viewing times have reduced. People are, the focus is less, etc. But pre-pandemic to now, since your platform has actually seen that journey, could you tell us what you think?
So I think, as I said, it's the dwindling attention spans. And there's too much content. After pandemic, I think you can't watch everything. Nobody can. And as I said, it's the context and the personalization that's missing. So I think that's where the opportunity is. These behaviors, this is what has caused. There's too much content now, I think, and it's unregulated, as we discussed. So,
but is there a huge shift, like in terms of pre-pandemic and post? Because digital became much more of a day-to-day thing post-pandemic. I mean, during pandemic and now.
Yeah.
So, is there a significant shift? And which
definitely,
means
I would say on the artists and arts organizations, it's a huge shift. I mean, as I said, we used to beg people to live stream and ticket it outside their city. We had so many barriers. So post-pandemic, I think everybody has a YouTube channel now, and in fact, we had a YouTube channel which hosted content of more than 600 organizations. Slowly, with the pandemic, we asked all of them to shift that content to their YouTube channels. I mean, they also wanted that. Till then, they didn't want to create. We said, you please create your channel, let's upload it there. No, we don't want that, you please handle it for us. That was the case. Now people realize that it's a fundamental skill now. Building a community online is a fundamental skill if you're an artist or an arts organization. So I think that's the shift. That's a major shift. Like, we don't need to educate people anymore.
what we wanted to do, I think the pandemic made that learning curve like 7 years ahead what we were trying to do.
True.
So my next question is for artists, right? So a lot of young artists or artists even who've been around for some time, there are a lot of also barriers to getting into the digital space. I mean, the barriers could be actually, resources or, the technical barriers, or barriers also from a mindset point of view. So if there are young artists or artists who are trying to get into this digital space, what would you tell them? How can they go about getting started on this journey?
It's really hard. That's something that I am also thinking day in and day out. It's really hard. As Bharat also said, there are a lot of challenges they face once they are in the digital. There are some obligations. It's very, very hard. I mean, it's a problem that we have to all think about. It's not something I have an answer at this point. I mean, technically or using technology, we can do some things. We are thinking on some ways to actually do it. So let's see in the coming days. I mean, until I have something, I shouldn't be talking about it.
Yeah. So for example, if any artist here wants to get onto, for example, the Shaale platform. So going back to your point of you creating good quality content is what you would basically tell them is to, go back to that. Yeah. Okay.
Because otherwise it doesn't make sense, because we pay cloud costs for every GB. It's not like YouTube or Facebook. We don't have funding. We have to pay Google Cloud and AWS and for every GB that's on our servers. So it's very important for us to see that it actually makes a return for the artists more than us. It has to serve the purpose. So
makes sense. Questions?
I mean, I know by far you spoke, musician is fairly different, and I would not say simpler, but different from for a dancer. Because dance involves that video, the lighting, and it has to again look, aesthetically fine. So, can you throw some light on that? Because that's...
yeah, as you said, it's a totally different game. Like, musicians can do albums and stream it. Right? For dancers, it's a totally video-based visual medium. Of course, there are new mediums like AR and VR that can be explored in the dance front. But it's all nascent. The technology is still not inroad. It doesn't have inroads into everybody's home and all that. So there are challenges, but it's a very hard thing for dancers. I agree.
But,
Yeah, I just wanted to go back to what you were talking about personalizing for audiences. While it sounds very good, what happens is you lose out on a lot of content that would come to you if it was not personalized. For example, on Instagram, if you say you like the cat video, then the recommendation engine understands that this is what you like and then starts serving more of the same. Then slowly you start losing out on other content that you might discover. So it's not the best thing. I mean, how would you discover new content if it starts serving the same?
Definitely, I think personalization is a good thing for starters. Like if you don't know what to do. Like today, personalization is used in a different content in Instagram and so on. But I would say it would be very good if we can understand the audience that's coming in and personalize it to build the market. Right, and also we want to have the discovery option as well. We are thinking like having a Google map of like what Google Maps lack today is culture data. What are the art forms? What are the artists? Where are they? Like that whole data is missing. So can we create a culture data for Google Maps? Like you can come and explore like South India. What are the art forms? Who are the artists? Where are they? How can I connect with them? So there's a discovery. It's open for discovery. You can just explore, right? That's one. Another is have a way to actually personalize whatever content we have, whether it's on YouTube and give it context and relevance, and that's the personalization I'm talking. Like today's social media, I think it's the algorithms. Nobody knows. Even the creators don't know how it works. It's opaque and like after a point, because it is based on reinforced learning and data, it's just made for efficiency and getting you hooked, getting you addicted. Like getting you addicted in a bad way. Like it's not that you are engaging with. So
This is a space where curators would make a big difference, like where every week they would probably come up with something. This is something that you can check out. This is something we found interesting, and then introduce audiences, build audiences, educate audiences to newer forms.
Yeah, that's the takeaway. I think education it should be more focused right now than everybody's on performing, looking at performances, and I think the whole education and this conversation I really appreciate and like. Thank you for doing this.
absolutely.
I know.
Top of what the platform offers mainly, which is the streaming capability of the system. Questions like how we create additional tooling around making dance more aesthetic than what naturally comes out to be, or even creating a viral or network effect like how Facebook can do. Right? Are you considering some of those elements also to help to make the platform amplify the content, make it more discoverable, make it more viral in nature, so that it's not only those who are seeking the content, but also influencers can also happen through the platform itself?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we would love to have a conversation. We have not had too much thought into this because we are, we have too many things already to take care of. But this definitely, we want Shaale to be a technology team for artists. Like you want something and there is enough. We assess and we want to implement that. We want to build a technology team which will assist artists and arts organizations monetize online. That's the whole goal. So if something like this helps, we would love to take it up. We need to explore and see how and what we can do.
We can also charge for those analytics.
Yeah, sure. Definitely. See, another thing is market intelligence, in my opinion. Like just data, like which artist singing which raga or a composition in which for music, even for dance. So there's no market intelligence platform right now. Like there's so many. The opportunities are huge, in my opinion, and there are not many people in this as well. There are very few for-profits. It is no profit as of now, but
Because people ask us,
No, that's another thing. Like, why should we do non-profit? Like we are ourselves telling that it's of no use. Like,
Topic for next year, Arts Fire.
yeah. I mean, everybody should think of making profits. Why not?
Yeah.
Like the world is, if Tyagaraja was alive today, he should, Saint Tyagaraja, he should have been marketing his own compositions. Seriously.
I think Akshay had a question.
Yes. Just carrying forward from her question about this whole concept of personalization. I think it's for you and for Ramya because the platform aspect and the social media aspect. See, I think it's very easy in certain to make artists understand what personalization means and stuff. But at a lot of times, the one thing that at least I have understood, that people lack is how you do it. Right, like even if you're taking Instagram for that example, something as simple as hashtags, right? What works, what doesn't work, and putting that extra 1 hour, 1.5 hours effort, especially for individual artists who run their own pages, is a huge task. So, how does someone break down this personalization and make it easier for themselves as artists? A, and B, is there is there just an easier way for them to do it? Because right now I think the process is either too ambiguous or too complicated. And especially for younger artists, for example, I do spoken word, so I know of artists who do spoken word outside Chennai as well. And another thing that I've constantly heard them tell is, okay, I'm putting my video, but what else? Right, so let's say I perform something somewhere and then I go put it done. Is that all the personalization that's required? That does not work. We have clearly seen that does not work. You need to do something more to make your things stand out. So how do you?
Yeah, I mean, it's not easy.
Yeah, that's
It's not at all easy. It is like creating your art itself. It's not easy. You have to work at it. You have to work at it every day. You have to keep learning. Like Skanda said, you have to keep growing. So whatever I feel that as artists or art organization we do for our art, I think we have to do that for our marketing or social media as well, which means we have to have a certain discipline to create content, to keep learning as to what's happening. And I understand it's really time consuming, but one thing I would say from our experience of working so much in this space with social media is consistency. So you don't have to have like the best hashtags, but if you are actually consistent in creating good content and you keep putting it out there that reflects you in an authentic way, and that you're not trying too hard to put yourself out there, but to just be consistent, a lot of that problem is solved. But there is no direct answer. But it's not easy. You have to keep doing it, and in that process you will learn. And the way the Instagram or any of the algorithms work is by the consistency. They keep looking at what you're posting, what hashtags you're using, and then slowly they start organically, sharing your content in other news feeds. So the consistency will help. So if you are a spoken word artist, how consistently are you sharing? And how much have you understood your audience, which is what we spoke in the first session today, is understanding yourself and understanding your audience. That will, a deeper look at that maybe.
I think I raised my question. The question that I'm trying to ask is, how do you know what works? Like, what is your metric of understanding? Let's say, for example, I chose 20 hashtags that have to go on my, on my caption, right? Now I can keep repeating these hashtags again and again. But if the algorithm is not picking it up, it's not picking it up. But how do I figure out what is working and what is not?
So when it's platform centric, you have the analytics to give you, which is basically the number of increase in followers, increase in engagement with that post. So if you go to analytics, I mean, I was getting a bit technical, but the backend will give you the data. So you will see how much it is growing. And you will see that certain posts, certain hashtags are not giving you anything. And which means that there is no, that's not working. So the consistency, comes from creating the post. It also comes from reviewing and, analyzing and repurposing whatever you've done to see what works.
If I may add a point to what you were saying, in what we call personalization, what we call in product marketing is customer centricity, right? That kind of works very well in a product phase when you've got a tangible product you're selling, because your interests you can kind of map similarly. But art is so subjective. You cast such a wide net. So I feel personally that personalization and customer centricity kind of will come in the engagement phase for art rather than the discovery phase. Any of us can appreciate art in any form. So even if you're watching cat videos, and tomorrow we hear Vidya sing, we would love it, right? And that's, nobody can compare cat video to Vidya. It will never happen. So because art is so subjective, personalization or customer centricity will kind of fit into the engagement sphere rather than the discovery sphere in the arts sphere. That's what I think.
Thanks, Megha. Megha is a digital marketer who works for for-profit businesses.
Would it change the way Music Academy selects its artists?
Need AI for that.
I want to know. How do same artists keep appearing in Music Academy when there's so much happening in the social media, so much good work is happening?
So there's no tangible data that we can put in front of them. I mean, if we can do that,
Yes,
it
because
should.
it matters for an artist to be selected by
Yeah.
a certain festival or whatever, and if this constant engagement, constant work that they put out is recognized in that platform at a performance level.
I guess as the market matures, committees will also mature in their digital sensibility.
The committee has to
I
have.
doubt.
If I can just add a point, something that Ramya was talking at the start about how this whole consistency and how that affects your audience, and I think at the start they said one of your audience members is also peers and organizations that are looking at you and seeing how you're performing on social media, which is becoming a huge thing today. Another pattern that at least we when we talk on close circles saying, hey, look at what they've done, look at what they've done. The thing is, this sort of word of mouth that social media helps you create is also what, of course I'm very sure that if there is a specific artist who everybody is talking about, somebody like Music Academy or Theatre from Ganasabha is not going to be like, no, we don't want it, unless political reasons. I think it is a lot more about the fact of not just how much you're creating, but also like, are you touching that nerve of this artist can pull this specific crowd. They also segment their audiences. It's not like they don't. It's just that their segmentation is very big, and the segmentation that they are looking at, especially on social media, is very different from their segmentation. They're still pretty old with it.
So I'm just to compliment Anu's point, I just want to ask, do you think there will be a space where, I know that the moment we get into a particular space like Music Academy, artists also have the mindset that that's the most revered spot to be, right? So do you think that as a digital, using digital media itself, or using Shaale for example, somewhere we become like artists feel premium in a sense. Like for example, there is the masterclass, right? And it's revered as the most premium, like everybody, Gordon Ramsay, everybody's there. So do you think that somewhere there is a possibility for an artist to get so much gains from digital? Like it could also be Shaale someday, because you guys are pretty much pioneers in this space. So do you think that that journey is something an artist can dream of or see?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we may not be getting into that. I don't know, I'm not sure, but because we have upcoming artists and we want to create at a base level, increase the market size, that's what but that's an opportunity for another startup, I would say. Like create a very premium brand where on a digital front to actually do that.
But is there a capability in digital, because you worked in it?
Definitely, that's where the actual, I mean, as I said, popular artists sell. People who already have a community, who already have a following. That's what actually makes business sense. So there is definitely, I mean, but the overall market is less. Understand? Although there are popular artists, but if the numbers don't add up, like as a business you can't run it. It can only become viable if the market is big. And many investors in the startup community don't invest because the market size is small. We need investors who believe that we should do this. We can do this. Like, let's not look at billions or even millions. Can we, so supposedly today's Carnatic music market size is around 8 to 10 lakhs. In our estimates. So can we get to 1 crore? Doable, right?
Yeah.
In a world of 7 billion. 1 crore is definitely doable. It is 10 times what it is today. And it can increase revenues 10 times. So that's the opportunity on the digital, that's the scale that digital offers needs to be exploited at this point.
Ramya, I want to ask, you have spoken about frequency of uploading things on, and that really helps, that kind of consistency helps. Did you mean that, like, generally, like, for an artist who, when they plan a performance, they don't really keep the audience's needs in mind, but the audience is more incidental in the music creation process. Not that they're averse to the audience or anything. They would like to, of course, share the music, but the plan is not as per an audience's, it's not like, okay, the success formula has to be shot, not that kind of an approach. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I'm just saying, for this kind of an artist, putting out something there is not really, they're not really thinking about whether it's different enough, whether it's, the proper kind of content, So would this person maybe get somewhere by just putting something that they feel very connected with, very passionate about, just regularly? Would this still work?
Definitely will work, because one thing that works well on social media is authenticity. Is if you are yourself, even if you post once a week, and honestly there's no formula of post twice, thrice, whatever. Even that once a week is a meaningful post that comes, that really reflects you as a brand, as a personality, definitely will work. So when we say consistency, we don't mean 3 times, 4 times, 6 times, no. What we mean is consistency is, if you do it once a week, it's perfectly fine, but you do it regularly, you do it in a way that reflects your work. And the other thing that I think we always discuss is that social media is also a reflection of your on-ground work. So online is a reflection of your on-ground work. The online itself doesn't become you. So you also have to do enough work in your art in the real world to be able to share that in the digital world. So I think that clarity as artists, it's important to have. Because today, especially post-pandemic, digital itself becomes, there's an impression that if I'm on digital, it will change my career and my life. It will not, unless you're actually not creating stuff in the real world. So I think the real world, digital world difference is very, very important to understand. So, yeah.
So just one point to add on to, instead of seeing digital as a stage, you start seeing it as only an audience development vehicle. I feel it changes perspectives itself. So that's not your performance space or a stage. It still is something which is leading you to something. So, and it's never quantifiable immediately, it's never tangible immediately, but we've seen intangible benefits, like with BK, with a lot of other clients who we've worked with, though it's not quantifiable, but we've seen benefits in the long run. So, yeah.
Any other questions?